I've always been interested in urban exploration and liminal spaces, so when I heard about the tour organized by Hidden Heritage Singapore of the former Shell lubrication plant, I jumped at the chance. We met our guides Stanley and Amanda at the entrance at about 9:30 that morning, and they began to show us around the interior of the plant and explain to us a bit about the operations before it shut down. So here we're walking down the conveyor belts where the drums of lubricants would roll down the assembly line for labeling. We entered the control room of the site, and from here you had a really good view of the steel tanks. And just to give you a sense of how far away this location is, from this window you can see a view of Malaysia across from the causeway. At this point of the tour, we started to explore in between all the humongous oil tanks. So after about 2 hours, we left the lubrication plant to continue on to the next part of the tour. We walked past these HDB flats and made our way along this road with lots of roadside shrines. And Amanda explained that this used to be a former kampong, which is a little village, and these shrines belong to the inhabitants of that village. And when they were relocated to HDB flats, rather than abandon their idols, they kind of set up a little home for them along the roadside. After a long walk and a bus ride, we made our way to this building here, which was built by the British but occupied by the Japanese during the Second World War, and then converted to a mental hospital after the war. We also learned that the jungle right next to it contained a bomb shelter, as well as a refugee camp for the Vietnamese fleeing the Vietnam War. So here you see the very narrow entrance to the bomb shelter, and here our guide Stanley is setting up the rope ladder for us to climb down into. It's a really small space, so we kind of had to take turns and make our way down in groups of 7.
Okay, so we will explain a little bit more about what we will see.
For all those with trypophobia, look away now, because these little white dots on the ceiling are gecko eggs. And yes, we were surrounded by many geckos. That's a doll head, and we think that that's probably left over from one of the refugees from the 70s.
We just sleep on the floor, but on the floor they will still put like a mat on top of the floor to sleep on it. So he suspects it might be.
We emerged from the jungle and back into civilization, and here's where we ended the tour. And because I parked my car back at the lubrication plant, I took a bus back and decided to explore the surrounding neighborhood. And to get a better view of the plant, I went up to the neighboring HDB blocks to get a top-down view. As you can see, right across the strait is Malaysia. Overall, I had a really good time on this trip, and I explored parts of Singapore I've never been to before. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!